video because of you.
Hey guys, I'm gonna go on my YouTube channel. Practice train and say.
You like going my thumb?
It was 10,000 tons of 2 GPUs. It was so cool. I posted it on my YouTube channel.
I swear, I'm gonna hurt you. Bye.
On my YouTube channel.
Drive through the water. We're ice road truckers.
Alright, so folks, take a look at the video. I'm going to show you some things and I'm going to pass these out. That photograph you see is from an old postcard that I found in the archives. Very, very cool. That postcard shows the original Brewster Icefield Chalet that stood where the present Icefield Center is in the mid-1930s. So look how large the glacier is in the background. That was the mid-30s. Here are 2 photographs. The top one shows the glacier in 1917. The bottom one in 2010. See the difference? Dramatic, isn't it? Take a peek at that, you pass it on. Here's an overhead view of the glacier. You notice something from this perspective, it looks much, much longer and narrower than it does on it, doesn't it? The reason being that those 3 steps of the head wall that I described to you, right, they actually cover much more ground, almost a kilometer in fact, than, you know, appears to be the case from here. This area here is what's up and over top of those 3 steps. That's the southeastern edge of the ice field. On this side of the map, what you're going to see is blue is the entire Columbia ice field. And right here is the Athabasca Glacier, that tiny little sliver. So that's a very, very small portion of what lies beyond. These boundaries that you see, those are the watersheds that meet at the summit of the mountain to your left called Mount Snowdon. You know what watersheds are? Right? High points in the terrain will basically mark which direction rivers flow. Makes sense? Here in the mountains, those are very distinct. On one side of a mountain, rivers may flow to one ocean, and on the other side, rivers may flow to another. While here, rivers flow to 3 oceans. The Atlantic, through Hudson Bay, all the way across the prairies. The Pacific behind us, south and west. And then from here in Jasper National Park, everything flows north to the Arctic Ocean, Beaufort Sea, on the tundra coast of the Northwest Territories. So this is a triple continental divide, and that's quite exceptional. There aren't many of those in the world. And this might be one of the most grandiose examples that you're going to find. The rivers that flow away from here are very important. The Columbia River, the Saskatchewan River, and the San Juan de Athabasca, Mackenzie River here. Like a helicopter. You think about rivers, and many of the very, very large ones on the continent, they get their start in the mountains, and that's the case all over the world, right? You think of the Amazon, right? My Brazilian friends. Begins its life high in the Andes, flows across a huge swath of South America, eventually into the Atlantic, right? The Columbia begins its life here on the west side of the ice field, flows all the way south through the interior of BC, through the Pacific Northwest of the states, Washington and Oregon to the Pacific. And then this water flowing beside us here is going to spend 80 years flowing to Inuvik, Northwest Territories. All the way through Jasper National Park, through northern Alberta, through the Northwest Territories. And then just south of us to Saskatchewan. We're flows south through Banff Park and then east across Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, through Lake Winnipeg, and then north through the Hayes, Nelson, and Churchill Rivers.
That water will spend 80 years going to Northwest Territories, northern Manitoba.
Yeah, the water right here.
Yep.
That's far. The water on that.
I don't drink that one.
No, you don't.
He said for the next few years,
Like you said, to get to the Northwest Territories.
Our tour began here a long time ago in the 1930s. We began a motorized tour onto the glacier. In those days we used a number of different types of machines. We used military half-track machines as well as little automated skidoos like that yellow one seen parked down below.
He's talking. What up? Up the hill we go.
Alright, now let's see if we can make our way up there. We've got a full load plus here, don't we? Thankfully we have lots of youthful scouts who can volunteer their services to push, right, if need be.
Let's go.
That's Lake Subwalker down below left on the valley floor, folks. That's a very, very cool body of water.
Teach me all about trains, sir.
If you've ever visited parts of the world where major rivers enter the ocean, you know that those rivers deposit silt, right, at the delta, and that causes the delta to fill in. Well, where the meltwater from our glacier flows into that lake, you can see a delta there.
We're like going
That lake
up a
is
hill.
being filled in. That lake was
Like
about
45 meters.
almost twice the size it is today 10 years ago. Because all the melt that flows through these moraines brings with it rock flour, dust. Okay? All that meltwater flows through the moraines, it draws the dust out of the rock, it carries it into that lake and it deposits it. Now in high concentrations the water looks very cloudy, very unappealing. In lower concentrations though, those little dust particles refract light, right? You think of the spectrum, the rainbow, the colors of, and all of a sudden that light is separated, and what our eyes behold are those gorgeous colors. That Lake Louise, Moraine Lake, Pado, waterfowl, right? Aquamarine, turquoise, etc., etc.
I swear, I'm gonna kill you.
What other part?
All right, here we are. Some of the machines to your left that we use to groom the roadway and clear all the snow in the early part of the season. It takes us 2 weeks to clear snow. Sometimes we get here in early April, and there's snow right up to the third-story windows of the Ice-Field Center.
Go home for a month. Go home for a month.
So here we are, folks. Thank you very, very much on behalf of Brewster, Explore Rockies, and the National Park System of Canada. I wish you all the very best. Hope you enjoyed your time. Those of you who have to stampede, enjoy that.